Hello, my name is Phil Anderson. I am one of the co-developers of the Maven marketing simulation and a professor at the University of St. Thomas in Minneapolis-St. Paul, Minnesota. This tutorial's goal is to help you get started making your decisions for quarter one. The typical response as someone starts to work with the Maven simulation is, "What do I do now? Where do I start? I am completely overwhelmed." So let me help you reduce your anxiety. Let's log in and get started. If you have not yet determined your company mission, you need to first do this. Before you can make any decisions for quarter one, you need to have decided what kind of product you intend for your company to provide its customers and what strategy you will implement to fulfill your mission successfully. To help you in making this decision, you should first look at Tip 1. When you first log into either the team or solo Maven account, Tip 1 is one of a sequence of tips that appear as part of the dashboard that opens on your monitor. You can always access tip number 1 by selecting the Helpful Tips link under the Industry menu. Tip number 1 gives you a broad description of the 3 regions in which you will sell your products. Use this as a guide to determine the price, quality, and feature mix you want to offer. For example, do you intend for your company to provide its customers with a high-quality product at a higher price in order to pay for the cost of that increased quality? Or do you want to provide a low-priced product, investing less in quality in order to keep your price as low as possible? In addition, you also need to decide how important features are going to be in the product you offer. The combination of price, quality, and features will determine the value dimension that your product offers to potential customers. Of course, there are countless variations to what this mix of price, quality, and features could be. So it is important that you decide now to set a direction for your company to avoid making inconsistent decisions as you manage your business. For example, you do not want to be high-priced one quarter, low-priced the next quarter, and then jump back to the high-priced market again. Clearly, that would confuse potential customers for your product. Once you have determined the intended market position for your product, you are ready to start making some decisions on how to translate your intended market position into reality. You will make these entries on the Marketing Decisions panel that you access under the Marketing menu. As you can see on your monitor, you have a number of decisions that you must make. These decisions, of course, are focused on the 4 P's of marketing: price, quality and features for product, and multiple forms of promotion that include sales promotion, sales force, advertising, and social media. So you have multiple ways in which you can promote your product. The place aspect of marketing plays little role in the Maven simulation, as all sales are made by your company to retailers. You will note that in addition to the marketing decisions, you must also make some production and finance decisions. You will order units from a subcontractor and decide whether to take out a short-term loan to cover your cash needs after paying for your expenses, like advertising your product. In order to keep this tutorial simple, I am only going to make decisions for Product 1, Region 1. Let's assume your plan is to position the product as low quality, low priced, with no features. Based on this, we will change the price of what is the starting price for all companies in $19 and lower it to $18.25. And we won't spend any money on quality or on features. Next, you need to decide how you will promote your product to your potential customers. The price, quality, feature mix we entered creates a value for the product, but you need to decide how you will make customers aware of that value. You have sales promotions, customer magazine advertising, trade publication advertising, plus various forms of web marketing as ways to pull your products through the marketing channel by ensuring that potential customers know the value of your product. Plus, you can choose the message you want your advertising to send to customers. If the ad message you select is consistent with your product's actual position in the market relative to your competition, you will reap the benefit of extra sales. But if it is inaccurate, your sales will suffer as potential customers see an inconsistency between what you say your product will deliver and what its value actually is. So, if you claim to have a high quality product, but it is below average quality for the products offered in the industry, that inconsistency will depress your sales. You also have a team of sales reps to push your product's value to potential customers. The dollar spent on sales promotion will help support the efforts of these sales reps. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will increase sales promotion from $35,000 to $40,000 and the magazine ads from 10 to 14. And given the position we have decided to pursue in this tutorial, we will select price as the advertising message. While there are obviously other promotional decisions we could make, this is sufficient for now. Next, we need to make a sales forecast based on the marketing decisions we have entered. But before making that forecast, we need to have some idea of the overall industry demand for the product we are selling. Fortunately, in quarter 0, the company bought market research on expected industry demand for quarter 1. To find out what that demand is, open the market research report by selecting that option from underneath the marketing menu. It is the second item from the bottom. A panel like that now showing on your monitor will appear. When you open this report for quarter 0, besides the sales potentials for quarter 1, it will show the results for quarter 0 for all of the marketing research options you can purchase. Notice that all the companies in quarter 0 make the same decisions. That is because all companies in your industry will start with the same default quarter 0 results, regardless of how many companies are in your industry. To see the research bought on sales potential for quarter 0, we will need to scroll down to the bottom of this marketing research report. In most cases, you won't have purchased as much marketing information as this quarter 0 example shows, so probably won't have to scroll down very far, if at all, to see the sales potential for future quarters that you have made. What the report shows now is that the sales potential for product 1 in region 1 is 31,800, 14,600 in region 2, and 39,600 in region 3. And as you can see, there are also estimates for product 2 of 7,500, 3,700, and 5,800. When you look at sales potential for a region, do not assume that this is the number of units you are certain to sell in that quarter, in this case quarter 1. That is not what the sales potential numbers indicate. The sales potential numbers shown in the report are what a company will sell in a quarter if the total industry demand was split equally among all companies in the industry. In our example, each company would sell 31,800 units of product 1 in region 1 in quarter 1. The likelihood of that happening is 0, or at least nearly 0. So these numbers are not a guarantee of what you will sell. If your competitors outmarket you with some combination of price, quality, features, and promotion, your sales will be less than the sales potential shown. Or if you outmarket your competition, you will sell above that number. The best way to look at these numbers is to think, if my marketing efforts are comparable to my competitors in the industry, I should sell close to that number. If I want to sell more than that number, I need to have a marketing effort that is better than at least some of my competitors, so that I can steal some of their market share. Okay, now that you have an idea of the industry demand in quarter 1, you are ready to make your sales forecast for the quarter based on this demand and your planned marketing efforts. So let's go back to the marketing decisions panel so we can make our forecast entry. Again, using just product 1 and region 1 for this tutorial, your marketing plan was to go with a low price product, so it is reasonable to assume that you will sell above the average demand. We will enter a forecast of 34,500 units. Once you have finalized your marketing mix plans and entered your forecast for the expected sales for this quarter, you need to decide how much product to order from your subcontractor. Those items will be received next quarter, so we need to make that decision this quarter. When you do this, you need to balance the cost of carrying your products in inventory versus the opportunity cost of not having enough products available to meet the demand for your products for next quarter. If you order more product than you need, you will pay for that in inventory carrying costs. But if you order less product than you will need, you will pay for that and not being able to meet your customer demand and losing the chance to enhance your company's profits because you don't have sufficient number of products available to sell to customers who show up at the retailers to buy your products. So what to do? Let's use your quarter one situation as an example to explain this too much versus too little quandary you want to avoid. Start by opening the warehouse report. The link for this report is under the marketing menu. This report shows you the beginning inventory, units received and available for sale, units sold, etc. for each product in each region. Again, for this tutorial, I will use Product 1 Region 1 as our example. The first thing I want to point out is that when in the forecast mode as we are now, the units sold number will always be whatever number you have entered as your sales forecast. In this example, it shows the 34,500 we entered for our forecast. When forecasting for a quarter, the Maven program assumes that you will sell what you have forecast to sell. That is, that your forecast will be 100% accurate. Clearly this is not going to happen, but it is useful for planning purposes to help you determine the number of products to order from your subcontractor. While your forecasting errors are likely to be high in the early quarters of the simulation, you should improve your accuracy in later quarters. Given our forecast that we will sell 34,500 units, the warehouse report shows that you will have 20,500 units left in ending inventory. And based on the current entry for product ordered for this quarter that will be received next quarter, you will have 75,500 units available for sale next quarter, in this case quarter 2. Now ask yourself, what's the likelihood we will sell 75,500 units next quarter? Does that make sense given your planned marketing position for your company? The likelihood of selling 75,000 units next quarter seems quite unlikely. So let's assume that our sales target may be perhaps as many as 40,000 units sold in quarter 2. That means we want to have at least that many units showing as available next quarter. Again, remember, there is a quarter lag from when you order product to when you receive it, so we have to do the planning now to ensure that we will have enough product on hand to be able to sell to meet our demand next quarter. So to hit our target of 40,000 units available for next quarter, we need to lower the current forecasted units available next quarter by about 35,000 units. To accomplish that, we will lower the current 55,000 units of product when ordered by 35,000 to 20,000. Having changed the product ordered number from 55,000 to 20,000, you can see that we now have units available next quarter planned for about 40,000 units. Having done this for Product 1 Region 1, we would need to conduct the same kind of analysis for the other regions. Besides the price, product, promotion, and place decisions you make each quarter, you can purchase marketing research information on almost all aspects of your competitors' actions, as well as purchase sales potential estimates to assist in planning for future quarters. Earlier in this tutorial, we looked at the information you can buy. If you want to buy information on your competitors and future sales potential, open the Research Decisions link under the Marketing menu. Notice you have the option to buy information for an item like price for all companies in the industry, or just for selected companies that you might want to particularly track. If you want to buy information on future sales potential demand, enter the number of the quarter, let's say quarter 4, in the box for that particular product. You can buy information for 2 future quarters. Just enter the quarter numbers that you want to buy information for, say quarter 4 and quarter 6. The last thing to consider before finalizing your quarter 1 plan is to look at whether you have covered your cash needs for the quarter, given your spending on promoting your products. Yes, you are a marketing company, but you still have to pay your bills. And if you don't ensure that you have sufficient cash in the bank to cover those expenses, you will be issued an emergency loan by your bank to cover your overdrafts, and you will be charged a fee from the bank for doing so. So let's open the cash flow statement and see what our cash needs are. The cash flow statement is one of the financial reports that you can access underneath the Finance menu. As you can see on your monitor, I have opened the cash flow statement and also the income statement so that you can view both simultaneously. In looking at the cash flow statement, it is showing that if you sell what you forecasted to sell, you will have a negative cash flow of $1,019,717. Your first thought might be, how can I have a negative cash flow when my income statement is showing a net profit of $234,147? The focus of this tutorial is not to detail all of the differences between the income statement and your cash flow, But let me quickly state that a key reason for your company having a negative cash flow while also having a net profit is because the income statement reflects sales revenues for all of the products you sold this quarter, but only 40% of those sales were in cash. The other 60% were credit sales that will be paid in cash next quarter. This means that of the 2,832,425 in total sales showing on the income statement, only 1,132,970 was received in cash this quarter. This delay in receiving payments impacts your net cash balance because you cannot delay payment for your marketing expenses, such as consumer magazine ads, until next quarter. The consequence of these different timings in cash payments and cash receipts means that just because you have had a profitable quarter does not mean you will have sufficient cash flow to cover your expenses. So you need to keep a close eye on your cash flow statement. If you have a negative balance and don't request a short-term loan from your bank, you will receive an emergency loan for the amount needed to get your cash balance to zero. And this emergency loan is at twice the current interest rate for a short-term loan. The extra interest charge is money that reduces your profits and only benefits the bank, not your company. So to avoid an emergency loan to cover the negative cash flow you are now experiencing, you will need to take out a short-term loan to cover this shortfall. You make that entry on the Marketing Decisions panel, so we will go back to that panel now. The amount of this loan that you enter may become a point of debate in your team as you manage your company. Remember, this is only a forecast of your cash needs, and it is based on the sales forecast you have entered on the marketing panel. If your forecast was overly optimistic, your sales revenue won't be as large as is forecasted, and as a consequence, your cash receipts will be lower than what is shown in your forecasted cash flow statement. As you enter your request for a short-term loan, you need to remember that if you are short on your request by as little as $1, you will receive an emergency loan for the full amount of your cash flow needs, not just the difference between what you requested and the additional shortfall. In other words, if you request a loan for $1 million but end up needing $1,000,001, you will receive the emergency loan on $1,001. Not just the $1 difference between what you requested and your total cash needs. So you want to borrow enough to have some extra cash to allow for inaccuracies in your sales forecast, but not so much that you are paying interest charges on money borrowed needlessly. For example, it would seem imprudent to borrow $2 million to cover our cash needs of a little over $1 million. That would seem to be far in excess of your cash needs for this quarter, but whether it should be $1.3 million or $1.5 million is one of the decisions you must make as you manage your business. This completes the tutorial on how to approach your quarter one decisions. I hope that it helps you as you get started working with Maven and speeds up your learning process. I also hope that you have fun as you gain insights into the challenges of managing a marketing business. Good luck.